I've been hanging around for eternity, waiting for you to turn on to me. But now you're here, there's no turning back. Prepare yourself for a laugh attack. Lenny, Lenny, Lenny. Lenny, Lenny, Lenny. Lenny Henry Show. Break out of depression, break into a smile, break out in a sweat, break the form in a mile. Give yourself a break and break new ground. Break up, break even, break down, break. Lenny, Lenny, Lenny. Lenny, Lenny, Lenny. Lenny Henry Show. Because relationships is a funny word, isn't it? Relationships. Countries can have relationships, you know. Britain and America have got a special relationship. Britain looks on America as a kind of ally, and America looks on Britain as a sort of warehouse. So I don't know, when you were a kid, you weren't bothered about all that stuff, were you? You were just bothered about marbles and conkers. Whether you could do a wheelie on your bike without breaking your neck. And then all of a sudden, your body shouted, puberty! It was horrible. All of a sudden, you're walking along, and pimples and boils start appearing from nowhere. Bing, 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 bing. And you go, you're like a walking biblical plague. Because didn't we do some stupid things after puberty, lads? Like wearing brute. Come on, put your hand up, who wore brute? Put them back down, I can smell it from here. Because we used to put it everywhere, didn't we, lads, you know, in our cornflakes. And then, you know, once we got dressed, we'd go to the local disco and do all the new dances, you know. There were some great dances in the old days, weren't there? There was the contact lens. There was the I'm not really into dancing. And during the psychedelic 60s, hippies used to dance like this. What they were trying to do was shoo away those little pink giraffes before the police arrived. A good skill you could acquire at a disco was dancing with a girl without her knowing. You had to sidle up to her at an angle of 90 degrees, you know. And then sort of... If she turned her back on you, you knew you cracked it. And then all your mates would be watching you, you know, saying, go on, go on, go on. And you had to try and pull. And so I'd use one of my best lines, you know, walk up to her, you know, really embarrassed, and I'd say, hey, worm, wanna wiggle? She'd be going. And women have great lines like, I'm sorry, I don't dance with kids. And you'd have to think of something really fast because all your mates were watching, so you go, I didn't know you were pregnant. But that's starting a relationship. Maintaining it's even harder. Because you have all those arguments. Anybody have arguments? No, come on, don't sit there saying, oh, well, we don't, of course. I know you all do. I hate the really violent ones, you know, where you have to say, get lost, and slam the door, and walk out the house, only then remembering that you're just wearing your underpants. So, darling, could you let me back in? We can make it work. Men are pathetic, aren't they? No. Darling, baby, I've only got my underpants on, I'm freezing. I don't know. Because there's a big myth going around that eating is romantic. Do you think eating's romantic? Candlelit dinner for two? It's not really. You're sitting there, you know, a foot away, candle in between, burning your eyeballs out. You're eating corn on the cob. It's all running down your chin. You say, hey, this is a great restaurant, isn't it? You know, big hunks of corn sticking between your teeth. Want to come back to my place tonight? She says, no, it's okay. Here's a toothpick. Because I think as you get older, in a marriage or in a relationship, you get a bit used to each other, don't you? I mean, the ladies know what I'm talking about, don't you, girls? Because, I mean, he leaves you, doesn't he, on your own. You're lying there in bed on a Saturday night, all the lights in the house are off, just in case he tries to spring. Suddenly you can hear him coming down the street. Relax, don't do it. When you want to go do it. Suddenly he comes in through the front door. Who put them stairs where they're supposed to be? He comes up the stairs, through the bedroom door. He's standing there, belly hanging over his trousers, most of his dinner over his shirt, flat cap on. He looks at you and says, I suppose you want me body. Wicked. You know what I mean? Look at that guy, boy.
Yes.
Look, it's Bruce Lee. Look at that. He's brilliant, man. That is pure style.
No, Eric, it's Kung Fu, man.
Nipper, why don't you shut up? Unless you want me to show you what I did in Kung Fu training this week.
Did you do the wily snake?
Adnan, I did the wily snake when I was 6.5, guy. We did the sleeping mantis with the angry locust on the side, you know what I mean? It was essential.
That's nothing compared to what we have to do in training, man. We have to do press-ups on our fingernails, man.
Yeah, that's nothing, man. It is if you bite your fingernails.
In the East, they do press-ups on the nipples.
Yeah, man. That nipple training is lethal, you know what I mean? I heard, right, that
A guy can
kill someone with one nipple from 100 feet away.
Film that.
The bit where they all disappear into the shadows.
Yeah, a bit like you United supporters.
shut
Nipper guy, you big woman. Speaking of big women, how you getting on with Angela?
All right. You, touched her yet? Yeah, man, of course I have.
Do you think she noticed? Wicked. Nah, Nip, don't worry, guy, because women problems, right? Because, like, I've been having problems with my Sheena recently, you know. Sheena's been playing me up, right? Because, like, I said to her this week, I said, listen, if you don't pick me up outside Kung Fu training this week, there's going to be big trouble, right? So I got out there. Was she there? No, right? You know what I mean? So I thought, right, this is it. I started walking to her house and I was planning it, right? I was going to box her, you know what I mean? I was going to clap her around, right? I was going to box her again, right? I was going to show her who's boss, you know what I mean? Anyway, I got to her house.
What happened then?
Her father answered the door, so I went and got some chips. But the next time,
Would you mind being quiet, please? No one can hear a thing. We'll have to throw you out.
Oh, yeah? You and whose army of ninjas?
The manager.
Oh. Well, in that case, Shorty, I've only got one thing to say to you.
Yeah.
4 mivis and a King Kong. Please. Woman, you serious, right? Here's some monies. Yeah, well, that told her. Sit there.
I'm not surprised no one can hear. The sound on this film's chronic.
Why do you need to hear it? You've seen it 17 times.
Yeah! Wicked! Look at Bruce, guy. Look at Bruce. I love you, Bruce Lee.
I love him more.
I mean, guy.
Why don't you all shut up? You've got Kung Fu all wrong.
Oh, yeah.
It's not all about violence, you know. It's supposed to help you reach inside yourself and find your key.
I left my keys in the motor.
Yeah, guy, why don't you leave us alone? Have you seen Snake Boxing Monkey with the cracked fingernails 80 times?
No.
Well, we have, so shut up! Yeah.
There's an old proverb which goes, if one cannot observe life with the silence of a grasshopper and the tranquility of a lotus blossom, one should...